You often hear people tell you to budget, to stick to your budget, to figure out what your budget is. But I find a lot of people don't actually know what their budget is, and maybe it's because they don't know how to come up with their budget or how to track it. So that's what we're going to talk about today, some basic rules on how to do just that. Hey everyone, Kadeem here, and today we're talking about some simple budgeting strategies that you can use to figure out your budget and how to track it. So there's many different categories that you can break it down into, and we're going to talk about some of those categories. So one of the first categories we can look at is your expenses. And in this expenses category, you can put things such as your rent, your mortgage, your phone bill, your internet bill, if you have Netflix or whatever other streaming platforms you have, any car servicing fees, your gasoline, electricity, gas, hydro, the full works. Living expenses, things that you need to pay in order to survive essentially. Groceries also go into this category. You can also put entertainment in here, as well as any dining out that you do and extra meals on the road, as well as your remittances, little toiletries and those things that you may need. So that's the expenses category. The next one you can put down as savings. And this one's, again, self-explanatory. How much are you putting away every month into your, let's call it your tax-free savings account? What about your retirement savings plan? What about your open mutual fund account, right? Your stock trading account, whatever it is that you have, your mutual fund, your segregated fund, your life insurance plan, right? These are things that can go into the savings category. Or how much you just put into your savings with the bank account. If you're doing that, you and I need to have a conversation. But how much are you putting away into your savings account with the bank every month? So these are some of the things that, again, can go into that savings category. Anywhere you're putting money to save it, hopefully not under your mattress. Now, another category we can have is the debt category. And in here, I'm going to throw you for a bit of a loop, forgive me, but the expenses category earlier, I said you can put your mortgage in there. But really, your mortgage is a debt. So if I were you, I'd put the mortgage under this debt category. If you're paying rent, you can put that into the expenses category. But if you have a house, you own a mortgage, put that in the debt category. You can also put your financing for your car. If your car is financed, you can put your lease payments if you lease a vehicle. In here, you can also put your credit card payments, your line of credit payments, any loans that you have outstanding, and again, anything that you owe debt on. Anything that is a debt to you that you're paying monthly, yearly, bi-weekly, whatever it is. If it's a debt, you can put it into this category because it's costing you money. Now, the last category is income. And in this category, of course, you can put anything that is coming into you, anything that's being put into your pockets monthly, weekly, bi-weekly, whatever it is, your income from your job, child tax benefit, any other income source you have, hopefully legal, you put it into this category here. Now, once we do that, it's simple math from here. Everything you put into the expenses category, add it all up and see how much that's costing you every month. Everything you put into the debt payment category, add it up, see how much that's costing you every month. Everything you put into the savings, add it up, see how much you're contributing to your savings accounts every month. And of course, assets, or rather income, add up all of your income and see how much you have every month. And then you add up all of the categories that are not your income. You add those all up together, which is the savings, the debt payments, and the expenses. Add up those totals together, and you subtract that number from your total income. If it's in the negative, then of course, you need to do something. Work out. You can play with your budget, right? You maybe need another source of income, which is honestly the best way to go about it, because that way you can increase it. But this is, again, a very basic way of how to figure out what your budget is. Now, looking at these numbers, if you actually followed along, a lot of people, when I do these things for them, when I sit down, I do a proper budget for them, they look at me and they're like, this doesn't look right. I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, I don't have that much left over after everything is said and done. Well, maybe you're missing something. How many times do you go out and get pizza a week? Did we include that in this expenses category? How many times do you go out and buy a bag of chips if you smoke? How many times you go out and buy a pack of cigarettes if you drink? How many times you go out and buy alcohol? All those things should be included here. You don't want to miss it. This should be an accurate depiction of how much you have left over, or how much you're missing out on, and how much you're actually losing every month. So this is just again, very basic, how to figure out your budget. Now you have some figures to work with. Now you know if you need to change things around so that you can have more left over at the end of every month, or you need an extra income, or you need to sit down with a professional and have them really show you some strategies on how to increase your savings or do whatever it is you want to do and accomplish whatever your goal is. Now, to figure out all of these numbers, I hope you caught it, look at your bank statements. Or if you always just spend on your credit card, look at your credit card statement. Because these aren't numbers that you just picked up out of the sky. These are numbers that you looked at your previous months of expenditure and you notice, okay, well, I spend this much on food, I spend this much on so on and so forth, right? So pull up your bank account on your phone, on the computer, wherever, or again, your credit card, however you spend normally, and figure out those numbers. Don't just think, oh, I normally buy this and that. No. Get the actual number so that you know exactly what it is that's going out for each category. And only then can you really say, okay, I know what my budget is currently, and then make the adjustments. If you know you're spending $600 a month, let's say, on food, and it's just you, maybe we need to cut back a little bit on that category. That is, again, your basic budget in its simplest form. To keep track of it, every week, every 2 weeks, every month, go back, look at your bank statement, your credit card statement, whatever it is, and see how closely those numbers match up with what you just put on your budget sheet. If they match very closely, or if they match exactly, great. If they don't match so well, let's make some adjustments on that budget sheet. Or if you want to stick to that budget, make that adjustment so that you know you're only going to spend a certain amount on, let's say, groceries. Now let me give you a bonus. The bonus is this. You can also add an asset category. And in the asset category, of course, you put anything that you currently own. Any investments that you have. Let's say you have $10,000 sitting in your TFSA, you have $20,000 in your retirement savings plan, you have another $10,000 in stocks, however much. You list all those things down individually, you total them again at the bottom, including the equity in your home, any rental properties that you have as well. Now, opposite from the assets category, you want to have the liabilities category. And in the liabilities category, again, you put any liabilities you have. We talked about the debt payments, but we didn't say how much is outstanding on your credit card, your line of credit, the car, and so on and so forth. That goes into the liability category. Your outstanding mortgage into your liabilities category. Now, to help you determine your net worth, you add up all the assets and you minus or subtract all the liabilities. Now you know your net worth. A lot of people don't know their net worth. It might be a negative number. That's all right. Now you know. Work on it. Maybe a positive number. Good for you. It may not be that high of a number. Let's work on it. But now you know how much you are worth in the financial game. Just a quick video to break down budgeting, how to keep track of it, how to know or figure out what your budget is, and again, stick to it. This budget that we just filled out, if you were following along, it's a depiction of your expenditures. It's a depiction of where you are financially, because we did also look at that net worth. And the name of the game isn't necessarily to increase your cash flow per se, but it's to increase your net worth. Because if you're increasing your cash flow, great. But it's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. And if you're keeping more of it, whether you're buying investment properties, whether you're creating businesses, whatever it is, you're increasing your net worth. So that's it for me, everybody. Hopefully that was helpful for somebody. Kadeem here. Stay happy, stay healthy, and stay blessed.